So hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And again, we're on the Aprilia Tuono 660. This is its last ride before it goes back to Aprilia, and I just wanted to give you my final thoughts, likes and dislikes on this motorcycle. Okay, so the Aprilia Tuono 660, this is the factory version, as you can see just here, and we've already done our first ride on this. If you've not caught that, then head over, we give you all the specs on this video, link in the top right hand corner. But on this bike, we've had it about 10 days now, and we've put plenty of miles on it, and what I'm here to do today is give you our last thoughts, final ride, and tell you what I think of this motorcycle. This bike has been kindly lent to me by Aprilia UK, thank you very much, and it's been an absolute blast, I can tell you. The bike itself comes in at £10,000. Now that's £300 over the standard version. Is it better than the standard version? I think so. You obviously get the full package electronic suite, which has lean sensitive cornering and stabilization, ABS, traction control, all of those kind of things. And that's from the bigger brother, the V4 1100. You also get better suspension, I think, on this than the standard. The rear shock looks a bit more substantial. And also you get the quick shifter. Now the quick shifter doesn't come on the standard version or the lean sensitive traction control. You have to pay, I think it's approximately £600 to get both of those. So if you're going to buy an Aprilia Tuono, get the factory version at 10,000, save yourself 300 quid. The bike is very, very comfortable with these straight bars. Been really, really impressed with these, and also the seat is super comfy. I rode 190 miles up the M6 on this bike with just one stop for fuel, and it's perfectly comfortable. The only downside negative that I've come across on the bike is just that the footrests are a little bit tall, and when I'm sat on the bike, you can see just here, actually my legs are pretty much bent up. So if I was to get this bike, I would get some alternative footrests about 10mm lower, and that would make it a lot more comfortable. Okay, so the question is it a better buy than the competition? Now the competitors, in my mind, are the CB650R from Honda. That's 7599, and that gives 93 horsepower and 63 newton meters of torque. The other one is the Yamaha MT-07, coming in at 7200, 72 horsepower and 67 newton meters. And the Kawasaki, the Z650, 7249 priced, and 67 horsepower, 64 newton meters of torque. So is it better than the three competitor bikes out there? I think so. The reasons for that is obviously you've got more horsepower, you've got 100 horsepower, 67 newton meters of torque, and you also get the Aprilia APRC, which comes out of the 1100 V4, which gives traction control, wheelie control, engine braking, engine map, cruise control, 5 rider modes which are road, track, and then 3 fixed modes with 2 custom. So you get a lot for your money. So I would say 10k is a fair price for this bike. It has great brakes, Brembo brakes, comes on great tyres, Pirelli Diablo Corsas, and the engine actually feels like it's got more power than a 660cc engine. You can cruise up the motorway effortless, you can scratch around the lanes, you can do whatever you want on this bike, and it just performs. It really is a great bike. Okay, so let's hop back on the bike and give you its final run and tell you what we like about the bike. Okay, so what do we love about this bike? What do we like? Well, there's a lot actually. The only negative, like I just said, is the foot pegs being a little bit high, but you can get aftermarket ones that lower a little bit by 5 or 10 mil, and I think that would make it more comfier. So that's my only gripe really with this bike. The suspension is very firm, as you'd expect from a more sportier bike, and I've ridden the RS660, but I do prefer a little bit more comfier motorcycle. So that's why I wanted to get the Tuono, just to see how this bike compared. The bars are great, seats really comfy, even on long journeys. The biggest thing I think that's really surprised me is the amount of power that Aprilia actually produce from this engine. 660cc, it does feel like a bigger engine, more towards the 900cc category. That's how it feels anyway. Now I noticed some of the other journalists that have done reviews on this bike actually compare it against some of the 850, 900cc motorcycles out there, just for that same reason. The suspension, the chassis is so great, it really is a fab bike. And would I buy one? Absolutely yes. Would the wife let me have one? Probably not. But she moves, she really moves. Now, mentioned in the previous video, on a motorcycle I like it to look the part, and this certainly looks the part stood still. I think you'll agree on that one. Aprilia really have it nailed in the styling department. The other thing that I thought was pretty amazing is actually the turbulence that you get off this bike, with it being a naked bike. The screen that they've put on this thing gives you clean air, even on motorways at motorway speeds. Yes, there's a little bit of pressure on your chest, but there's no buffeting around the helmet at all. Kind of a do-it-all bike. Would I go touring across Europe on this bike? Not with those pegs, but if you lowered them a little bit, it's possible. But the only trouble is you're going to struggle with luggage unless you pop a rucksack on your back. The dash, one of the best I've seen recently. Somebody said there's too many lights. Obviously when you start it up, there's a lot of warning lights and things come on and off, and also they flash up when you get to the red line as well across the top, a little bit like a Christmas tree. Don't mind that. It's noticeable. It lets you know that you're near a red line. The rider modes are pretty intuitive, pretty easy to use. You've got 3 basic rider modes, which by the way you can actually change: individual, commute and dynamic, while you've got the throttle open. Now on a lot of bikes you've got to close the throttle, or even actually pull over at the side of the road and stop to be able to change modes, so I think that's brilliant. And then you've got 2 other modes which are track modes really, so 5 modes in all, and everything is configurable. Everything. It's got the full suite, as I mentioned, from the big brother, the Aprilia 1100 V4, which I hope to get on the channel soon, because I'd like to put that through a bit more of a test. I did ride it down at Aprilia UK a couple of weeks ago, which was basically a half an hour ride, which wasn't enough, so we'll get that bike on the channel, and also that half an hour ride is coming up on the channel in a couple of weeks. And if it's not already loaded, pop a link to it in the right hand corner just here. I think the only other thing I'd do to this bike, and I think all bikes, especially the top spec bikes, should have, it doesn't cost a lot extra. I don't know why the factory doesn't do it, but yeah, put an adjustable clutch lever on as well. I mean, we've all got different sized hands, and basically the span is a little bit long, even though I've got very large hands and long fingers. For me it's quite long, but the quick shifter is so good on this bike that you would basically just use it for setting off and stopping, so not too much of a problem. If you're going to go for the standard version, like I say, £300 more, you get the factory version, you get all the bells and whistles, and also that really good quick shifter and blipper, which is really smooth even at low down RPM. So all in all, I think it's a fab bike. I think could it be your only bike in a garage if you use it just for weekend blasts and the odd ride here and there, then yes. If you put some comfier pegs on, yes, you can do more with the bike. And also I think in today's era of sport bikes, the upright naked sporty versions like this are a much better option. More comfy, big wide bars, you can throw it around corners, do what you want with it. I think it's a winner, and at £10,000 I don't think it's expensive, because you are getting more than the competition. But that's just my opinion. We like to give an honest review as always, guys, so if you like the video, give us a like, and if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell for future videos coming up, and we'll catch you on another video soon. Take care, guys. Cheers.